Chosen ones, your spirit already senses a shift, a quiet tension in the air, a message rising from a place far beyond memory. When heaven tries to reach someone, it doesn't thunder or shout. It whispers through patterns, emotions, sudden clarity, and it often speaks through the person you least expect, your mother. Some of you feel a strange pull right now, a discomfort you can't explain, a heaviness that appears whenever you think of her. That sensation isn't random. It's a spiritual signal, a warning born from karmic ties that began long before this lifetime. In Shaolin teachings, we say the closest bonds carry the deepest lessons. A mother is not only the bearer of your physical life, she is the mirror of your hidden weaknesses, your unresolved karma, and your greatest potential for self-mastery. In this video, you will discover why heaven directs this warning toward you now, why your mother plays such a powerful role in your spiritual evolution, and how her presence can both wound and awaken you. You will learn the unseen teachings behind karmic debts between parents and children, the Shaolin approach to emotional discipline, and the subtle signs that your soul is being guided toward transformation. As we go deeper, you'll uncover the lesser-known truth that conflict with a mother is often the final test before a breakthrough, the doorway to unlocking levels of inner strength you didn't realize you carried. Stay with me until the end, because the message waiting there is the key that ties this entire warning together. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. I am Shi Heng Yi. If you seek clarity, peace, and mastery of your inner world, join our path and subscribe. Certain bonds feel heavier, not because they are broken, but because they began long before you were born. In Buddhist understanding, relationships between parents and children are rarely formed by chance. They arise from karmic threads carried across lifetimes, weaving lessons, debts, and unfinished stories into the present moment. When you look at your mother, you are not just seeing the woman who raised you, you are seeing the echo of someone who has walked beside you before, perhaps as a protector, perhaps as a challenger, perhaps as a soul who once depended on you. Some of you feel an unexplainable tension with your mother, a conflict that seems too deep for the events of this life alone. You may feel judged, constrained, or misunderstood, yet beneath those emotions lies something older, unresolved karma asking to be healed. It is said that the ones who trigger us most are often the ones who once loved us fiercely or the ones to whom we once caused harm. In this lifetime, the roles return, reshaped, giving both souls another chance to rise higher than before. Think back to the moments when her words cut deeper than they should have. Moments when her silence felt heavier than anger. Moments when her presence stirred something you could not name. These are karmic markers, signs that your connection is part of a larger spiritual cycle. And when heaven sends a warning, it is not to create fear. It is to remind you that this lifetime offers a rare opportunity to stop repeating the same karmic patterns and begin transforming them. When you shift your view from blame to awareness, a crack opens in the cycle. Through that opening, healing begins. Through that healing, the karma that once held you returns its power to you. Discipline is not forged in the body first, it begins in the heart. A Shaolin master learns early that strength is not measured by force, but by the way one carries oneself in the presence of those who shaped their life. And among all relationships, the bond with one's mother stands at the center of traditional ethics. In Shaolin culture, filial piety, Sa, is more than a social rule. It is a spiritual training ground. Respecting your mother is not about blind obedience or silence. It is the discipline of holding your inner fire with grace, of responding to old wounds without letting anger rule the moment. Many believe discipline is about controlling the outer world, but true discipline means controlling the self, the impulses, the reactions, the ego that wants to win every argument and defend every emotion. When a mother speaks harshly or stirs something painful inside you, it becomes an unexpected arena for training. Not the training of fists or form, but of patience, clarity, and moral courage. Anyone can remain calm in peaceful conditions. The real test comes when emotions rise, when old habits surface, when you feel the urge to resist or withdraw. In these moments, respect is not a weakness, it is a sign of mastery. Ancient teachings say that those who cannot honor the root can never grow the branches. A mother, even if imperfect, even if wounded herself, represents the root of your existence. To treat that root with awareness is to refine your character. Each time you choose restraint over reaction, understanding over accusation, you sharpen the blade of your spirit. This is the discipline that Shaolin speaks of, meeting life's challenges with an upright heart, even when the challenge stands in front of you, disguised as your own mother. Some emotions rise like sudden storms inside the heart, especially in the presence of a mother. A single phrase, a certain look, even a familiar silence can awaken reactions that feel larger than the moment itself. In mindfulness practice, these reactions are called inner imprints, memories, fears, and old pain stored in the body and mind. When you become mindful, you start to see the space between the trigger and your response. You notice how anger tightens the chest, how resentment sharpens the breath, how fear makes the shoulders curl inward. Instead of being pulled into these sensations, you begin to observe them, as if watching clouds drift across the sky. This shift is subtle, but it is the doorway to freedom. You realize the emotion is happening within you, but it is not you. Meditation deepens this realization. When you sit quietly and let the mind settle, old reactions start to reveal their roots. You see that many of them were learned long ago, echoes from childhood, patterns shaped by past experiences, beliefs you accepted without question. And when you see these patterns clearly, their power over you weakens. The reaction no longer controls the moment, your awareness does. Mindfulness does not erase conflict, nor does it demand perfection. It teaches you how to stay awake in the middle of emotional fire. When your mother's words trigger something painful, you breathe, observe, and choose your response with clarity. Instead of repeating the old cycle, the sharp reply, the defensive tone, the silent retreat, you act from a grounded place. This is the heart of inner mastery. When you can watch your emotions without becoming them, you begin to walk through familiar storms with a steady mind. And in that steadiness, healing becomes possible for you and perhaps in time for her as well. In Buddhism, nothing stands alone. Every emotion, every conflict, every moment of tension between you and your mother is woven from countless threads of cause and condition. This is the teaching of dependent origination, the understanding that all experiences arise because something before them made their appearance possible. When you look at your relationship with your mother, it is easy to believe the difficulty begins and ends with the present moment, but the truth is wider, older, and far more intricate. Her behavior is shaped by her own upbringing, her fears, her dreams, her wounds. Your reactions are shaped by childhood memories, past influences, and the interpretations you carried into adulthood. Even the tone of a conversation today may be influenced by an event that took place years ago, or by something unspoken that neither of you fully recognized. This means your painful dynamic did not appear out of nowhere. It grew slowly, quietly, through interactions, misunderstandings, inherited habits, and the emotional landscapes each of you carries inside. When you begin to understand this, something softens within you. Blame loses its sharp edge. Instead of seeing your mother as the sole cause of your suffering, you begin to see a web of influences that extend beyond both of you. Transforming a relationship built from so many tangled roots cannot rely on willpower alone. It requires patience, awareness, and the willingness to break patterns that may have been shaping both of your lives for decades. When you shift your own approach, your tone, your expectations, your inner calm, the entire system begins to change. Even a small step in awareness becomes a pebble dropped in a still pond, sending ripples in every direction. This is the deeper work, not forcing change, but gently unraveling the causes that created the entanglement. As you do, space opens for a new way of relating, one grounded in understanding rather than reaction. Compassion is often misunderstood. Many think it means lowering your guard, accepting mistreatment, or carrying pain without protest. But in Shaolin and Buddhist tradition, compassion is not softness. It is strength in its purest form, the strength to keep your heart open when life urges you to close it. Conflict with a mother can pull you into old hurts and familiar roles. You may feel the urge to defend yourself, withdraw, or fight back. Yet the ancient teachings offer another path to meet the moment with compassion, not out of obligation but out of deep self-mastery. Compassion does not erase boundaries. It illuminates the truth behind them. It helps you see that the person in front of you is not only the cause of your pain, but also a soul shaped by struggles you may never fully know. In Buddhist understanding, offering compassion to one's parents, even when they are difficult, is an act of profound courage. It means choosing to understand rather than judge, to respond rather than react, to rise rather than repeat the past. When you act from compassion, you are no longer controlled by old emotional patterns. You become the one who guides the direction of the moment. Some teachings speak of taking on a portion of another's karmic burden. This does not mean carrying their suffering as your own, nor allowing harm to continue. It means transforming the energy between you, choosing patience where there was anger, clarity where there was confusion, gentleness where there was fear. Through your presence, you interrupt the cycle both of you have inherited. This is compassion as power, the ability to hold your center while easing the weight in someone else's heart. When you practice it with your mother, you are not only healing her story, you are rewriting your own, turning generations of struggle into an opportunity for awakening. There is a quiet truth that many overlook. Every mother carries two stories within her, the story of her kindness and the story of her karma. One is easy to see, the other is hidden beneath years of struggle, fear, and unspoken dreams. Buddhist teachers like Thapten Chodron remind us that the simple act of giving life is already an immense offering. A mother's body, time, and energy become the vessel through which you entered the world. That sacrifice alone holds a depth that words rarely capture. But kindness is rarely pure and untouched by human emotion. Love often arrives intertwined with attachment. A mother's desire to protect can become control. Her fear of losing you can become pressure. Her longing for your happiness can turn into expectations that feel heavy on your shoulders. From a spiritual perspective, this mixture of love and attachment can create its own karma, not out of malice, but out of a heart not yet free from its own wounds. When you begin to see this complexity, something shifts inside you. The image of the perfect mother dissolves, but so does the image of the hurtful one. You start to recognize her humanity, a person shaped by her own upbringing, her own insecurities, her own lost opportunities. You no longer need to idealize her, because perfection was never the path. You no longer need to demonize her, because pain was never the full truth. This understanding is a step toward liberation. It allows you to hold gratitude for the kindness she offered, even when imperfect. It also gives you the clarity to acknowledge the karmic knots she carried into the relationship. Instead of clinging to one extreme or the other, you learn to stand in the middle, a place where compassion grows and where your own healing quietly begins. In Shaolin tradition, pain is not seen as an enemy. It is a teacher, direct, unfiltered, and honest. Every challenge reveals the areas where the mind wavers, where the heart tightens, where the spirit hesitates. Conflict with your mother can become one of these unexpected training grounds, a place where the lessons cut deep, but the growth runs even deeper. In the monastery, a student learns that suffering is not simply something to survive. It is a crucible where strength is reshaped. The body becomes strong through strain. The mind becomes clear through difficulty. The spirit becomes steady through moments that demand more than comfort. When emotions rise in your relationship with your mother, frustration, disappointment, the reminder of old wounds, these moments are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. Shaolin self-mastery invites you to meet these moments with discipline. Patience becomes your shield, serenity your breath, humility your grounding. Instead of reacting out of old patterns, you learn to pause, observe, and choose a response that aligns with the person you are becoming, not the child you once were. Each time you succeed in holding your center, even for a heartbeat, your inner strength grows. Daily practice supports this transformation. Physical discipline trains the body to endure discomfort without collapsing. Meditation trains the mind to stay awake within emotional storms. Together, they sharpen the spirit like a blade refined through fire and water. Over time, the pain that once dominated your relationship becomes a source of insight, resilience, and clarity. This is the essence of Shaolin self-mastery, turning the raw material of your struggles into wisdom, not by avoiding them, but by stepping into them with a steady heart. Through this, even the most difficult bond becomes a place where strength quietly forms. There is a subtle power in repayment and forgiveness, a power that moves quietly beneath the surface of daily life. In Buddhist practice, one of the most profound tools for this is the 7-point cause and effect meditation, a method designed to illuminate the connection between your mother's efforts and your own existence. Each point guides you to reflect on the ways she nurtured, protected, and sacrificed, even in ways that went unnoticed or unappreciated. This reflection does not demand agreement or approval. It asks only for recognition. As you meditate, gratitude grows alongside awareness. You begin to see that every act of kindness, however imperfect, was a seed planted in your life. Some seeds blossomed into comfort, others into lessons shaped by discipline or restraint. Each carries its own weight, a balance of love and imperfection, shaping the person you are today. When these seeds are seen clearly, compassion naturally arises. Compassion does not excuse harm, but it acknowledges the complexity of life and the human heart. From this awareness, bodhicitta, the intention to awaken for the benefit of all beings, can emerge. You realize that your relationship with your mother is not solely personal. It is a thread in a larger tapestry of interdependent lives and karmic patterns. Forgiveness, in this context, becomes a conscious act of transformation. It is not forgetting the past, nor pretending that pain never existed. It is the deliberate choice to redeem the energy between you, to release old cycles, and to open space for healing and growth. Through repayment and forgiveness, the heart becomes a training ground for mastery. Each act of recognition, each wave of compassion, and each moment of conscious forgiveness strengthens your inner discipline. What once felt like burden or conflict begins to shift into a source of insight and clarity, demonstrating that even the most challenging relationships can become the gateway to freedom and spiritual awakening. True transformation often begins with small, deliberate steps. The ancient wisdom of Shaolin and Buddhist practice teaches that the heart can be trained just as the body is trained in the monastery, through consistency, awareness, and intention. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools is a 5-minute daily meditation. Sit quietly, focus on the breath, and allow the mind to settle. Even a few minutes of this calm presence can create a space where old reactions lose their grip and clarity begins to rise. Over time, this simple discipline strengthens your ability to meet difficult moments with serenity rather than impulse. Gratitude journaling is another practice rooted in awareness. Each day, write down small acts of kindness your mother has shown, moments of care, protection, or quiet sacrifice. These notes do not erase past pain, but they illuminate the threads of love that exist alongside conflict. Observing these acts trains the mind to recognize balance, to see beyond the immediate emotions, and to awaken a sense of appreciation that softens judgment. Communication too becomes a form of mindful practice. When tension arises, pause before responding. Breathe. Observe your emotions without letting them dictate your words. Speak with awareness, choosing intention over habit. This gentle approach does not weaken your stance, it strengthens it. You learn to respond with clarity and calm, turning what once escalated into conflict into an opportunity for connection. Finally, the dedication of merit is a subtle but profound practice. Whenever you engage in meditation, discipline, or any act of cultivation, mentally offer the energy of your practice to your mother. Dedicate compassion, patience, and healing toward her. This act does not require acknowledgement or reciprocation. It is a conscious choice to transform your relationship at a spiritual level, reshaping the unseen patterns that bind both of you. These practical steps may seem simple, yet in their repetition and intention lies true mastery. They teach the heart to navigate difficulty with awareness, the mind to see beyond reaction, and the spirit to bring peace where once there was only struggle. Shaolin mastery has always been about balance. the harmony between the strength of the body and the calm of the mind. A true warrior does not only fight external foes, the greatest battles are fought within. The tension, frustration, and old wounds stirred by a mother's presence become this very training ground. Each encounter is an invitation to practice the art of inner integration, to move through life with both power and serenity. When the body is disciplined through movement and posture, the mind follows. Every form, every stance, every breath in Shaolin practice is a lesson in focus and control. The same principle applies to emotional life. By observing your reactions, cultivating patience, and responding with awareness, you begin to transform conflict into a tool for growth. The energies that once fueled anger or resentment now flow into clarity and understanding. This is the path of the warrior peacemaker. You are not merely defending yourself against pain, you are actively converting it. Pain becomes wisdom, revealing the hidden patterns that shaped your reactions. Resentment softens into love, not through denial, but through conscious choice. Fear gives way to courage, born from the repeated practice of standing firm in the present moment, even when the past tugs at you. In Shaolin philosophy, this transformation is called inner alchemy, the subtle process of turning ordinary experience into spiritual refinement. The more you cultivate this integration, the more you embody a presence that is both strong and gentle, alert yet calm, grounded yet expansive. Your mother, the karmic teacher in this story, is no longer a source of turmoil alone. She becomes a catalyst for your growth, a mirror reflecting your capacity for mastery. By walking this path, you begin to carry the essence of the warrior peacemaker, the ability to move through life with discipline, compassion, and unwavering balance, turning every challenge into an opportunity to deepen the strength of body, mind, and spirit. Sometimes, what feels like a warning carries a deeper purpose. The tension, the unease, the repeated patterns in your relationship with your mother, these are not punishments, they are invitations. Heaven does not condemn, it guides, it points toward the places in your heart that have remained unexamined, the lessons waiting to awaken, the strength that has yet to be realized. To be chosen is not a mark of failure, it is a recognition of potential. The challenges you face, the old patterns that arise, the emotional storms that test your patience, all of these signal that you are capable of growth beyond ordinary measure. You have been entrusted with a sacred opportunity to transform pain into insight, conflict into clarity, and karma into wisdom. This mission is not only personal. Healing this relationship touches the deeper currents of your lineage, the unseen threads connecting generations. Each act of awareness, each gesture of compassion, each conscious choice to respond rather than react, sends ripples backward and forward through time. By tending to the karmic ties with your mother, you are also healing the echoes of past struggles, creating a foundation for future peace. Ancient wisdom reminds us that spiritual evolution is rarely gentle. It arrives through the crucible of experience, through moments that call for courage, patience, and discernment. The warning from heaven is precisely that crucible, a sacred test designed to awaken your deeper self. It asks you to rise above reaction, to embody discipline, to practice compassion, and to step fully into your power. When you embrace this purpose, the relationship that once felt heavy and burdensome becomes a teacher and a mirror. Every interaction becomes meaningful, every challenge a chance to refine the heart. You move forward not as a victim of circumstance, but as a chosen soul, carrying the responsibility and privilege of transforming not only your own spirit, but the energy of your lineage. Remember, the challenges you face with your mother are not punishments, but invitations, opportunities to awaken the strength, patience, and wisdom already within you. Each moment of tension is a chance to practice discipline, each painful memory a doorway to compassion, and each act of forgiveness a step toward inner freedom. By embracing these lessons, you transform not only the relationship itself, but also the deeper currents of your own spirit. Take these practices into your daily life. Pause before reacting, observe your emotions, cultivate gratitude, and offer compassion, even in silence. Let mindfulness guide your words and actions, and allow the teachings of Shaolin and Buddhist wisdom to illuminate the path through conflict into clarity. With each conscious choice, you move closer to mastering your heart, your mind, and your life. Heavenstan's message is not a warning to fear, but a call to rise. Lean into it with courage, and you will discover a strength you may never have known. Let every encounter with your mother become a training ground for wisdom, love, and inner peace. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found guidance or insight here, please like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire. May your heart remain steady, your mind clear, and your spirit ever strong.